Okay. Now, the sum of a finite, meaning ending, arithmetic series is if the first term is u sub 1 and the last term is u sub n, and the common difference is d, then the terms are going to be u sub 1. And then to get to the second term, you take the first term and add the difference. To get to the third term, you'd take the first term and add the difference 2 times, so forth and so on. And then the last term is going to be u sub n. To get to the term right before that, it's going to be u sub n minus one of the differences because it's right before we get to the end. And then to get to the one before that, it would be the last term minus 2 differences, so forth and so on. Okay? So the sum, S of n, would be all of these terms here added together. Okay? And then reversing those, writing them in the backwards order, just like we did in the last lesson that we did, would look like this. And then when we add all these together here, u sub 1 plus u sub n, u sub 1 plus u sub n, and we have a positive d and a negative d, so that's still going to be u sub 1 plus u sub n, u sub 1. We got the 2d and the negative 2d cancel out, so it's still u sub 1 plus u sub n. All of these are going to be u sub 1 plus u sub n, okay? Now, these are two terms added together, so that's why this is twice the sum, because there's two of these things added together is going to be u sub 1 plus u sub n, and there's going to be n number of these different terms here, right? Because this is officially the first term, second term, third term, so forth and so on, all the way up to the u sub n, which is the last term. Okay? Now, with that, we can take, so we've got 2 s of n is going to be n times all of these, right? Because there's n number of these. So like, let's say if there were 7 of these, it would be 7 times u sub n plus u sub n. So there's our, we don't know how many there are, so we leave the n in there instead of the 7. So it's n times u sub 1 plus u sub n. Okay? And since there's 2 of them, we would divide both sides by 2. So we basically take this whole thing divided by 2, or just write it as n over 2 times u sub 1 plus u sub n. Okay? So that's this is how we find the sum of our arithmetic series. Okay? Now also with that, from earlier, we already knew that u sub n is u sub 1 plus n minus 1 all times d. So this here is the same thing as this u sub n. So we're basically just taking this information here. Let's do this. So we're taking this here, and we're basically substituting it in for that. So if you'll notice, we have all of this right here, plus, now instead of the u sub n, it's all of this. So this basically is going right there. So u sub 1 plus n minus 1 all times d. That's this formula here. We go through and we simplify this. Basically, is u sub 1 plus u sub 1 is 2 u sub 1s. And we come up with the formula for the sum of an arithmetic series. Okay? So that's the sum of all the terms is our arithmetic series. All right?